It is thinking. Okay, we are going live now. All right, everybody, my name is Alicia Alt. I am a credit repair expert, and I am the vice president or co-founder of Credit Score Pro. We're going to talk a little bit about how AI is revolutionizing the credit repair industry and credit repair in general for consumers. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can jump right into this webinar today. Okay. All right, so again, our title for this webinar is How AI is Revolutionizing the Credit Repair Industry, the Insider's Look. Again, I briefly introduce myself. My name is Alicia Alt. I often go by Allie, and I'm here today with Ivory Becker. She's going to be off the webinar at this time, but Ivory Becker and I are co-founders of Credit Score Pro. I personally have 20 years of experience in the credit and lending industry, including being a loan officer and in the real estate industry. So I'm bringing hopefully a wealth of information to you today, but feel free to ask me questions at any point in time. All right, so why are we here? If you are a credit professional, this is a great place to be because AI is revolutionizing that credit repair industry and how we traditionally thought about how to do credit repair in general. If you're a consumer, this is a great place to be because we're going to give you some resources and tips that you can use in your own credit repair journey, where you can be able to take control of your credit repair by yourself using AI. All right. AI is a machine learning. I'm sure you already know that. I think was it Cass that was talking about having done the AI before, I believe. So you understand how AI is revolutionizing the credit repair industry or how AI is revolutionizing everything. But it is a machine learning, and Credit Score Pro, which is a AI learning system for credit repair, is also machine learning. And we'll talk a little bit more about how it does that here in a moment. Okay, so what is AI? AI is an area of computer science that emphasizes on the creation of intelligent machines that work and perform tasks like humans. So they're learning machines. And in the credit industry, we're able to use AI to learn how the credit bureaus react to disputes and things of that nature in order to get negative information off the credit report. So it's a great place for AI at this point in time. And AI has been used in a lot of different industries, including lending at this point. So some companies are using AI in regards to underwriting of lending and loan products. So I'm sure we're all using AI in vast different areas like ChatGPT and things like that. So it just makes sense that it's kind of going into different industries at this time. What is machine learning? It uses data and algorithms to imitate the ways that humans learn and gradually improves with accuracy. So again, it's learning just like we do. It just probably at a faster pace than we do. How is AI used in the credit risk management? So advanced algorithms are now used to analyze massive data sets with unparalleled accuracy and ability to identify patterns. It just does it so quickly and is able to see those patterns, something that we as humans are not able to do, right? Because it's able to do it in such a fast process. It allows for enhanced decision-making. Again, we talked about it is being used in underwriting, new methods of assessing credit worthiness. So it's able to identify patterns of how people react with their credit and in essence, deciding whether or not they have a good credit worthiness to get a loan. AI can leverage for predictability. It can be used for fraud protection or detection. And AI is now used for automation and compliance processes. So we have AI is just really taking control of this space and many other spaces at this time for that lending process. It reduces operational risk, improves accuracy, and speeds up decision-making. And I think this goes really well with the credit industry because there are human errors in processes. And there's a lot more time that takes to make decisions and create plans. We'll show you how fast AI can do that at this time. Automated lending decisions, I talked about that a moment ago of how AI is being used to make automated lending decisions. I don't know that lending decisions are being made completely using AI, but we're starting to trend towards that process where it's being used more and more to help make decisions in the lending world. So an introduction to alternative AI credit score models. So new models are powered by machine learning and credit risk analysis to monitor additional metrics. So we have income level, potential to earn, employment opportunities. It has advanced predictive modeling and expands data access assessment points. We're seeing a wealth of new models being created, but not yet widely used. Again, we talked about the underwriting. It's being used, but not widely used and not completely used for underwriting decisions and lending. Okay, so how is AI used in credit repair? It's really being used a lot in credit repair now. We have a lot of DIY type resources available that is using AI to determine the dispute process. So the problem with traditional credit repair providers is that it's a high cost. So we think about if an individual is going to a credit repair company, typically they're having a high cost associated with getting a credit repair professional. Obviously, it's a human that's taking their time and their resources and their expertise to help a person through the credit. So it does have a higher cost. The issue number 2 of traditional credit repair companies is a lack of transparency and communication. Clients often find it difficult to understand the process and the progress that they're having with the credit repair, and that oftentimes leads to a lack of trust. So if you think about the credit repair individual that's providing that service is generally an expert in that field. And what happens a lot of times is they're doing a lot of things behind the scenes, and that can cause a client not to understand the process. And so AI can alleviate that transparency issue in communication. Issue number 3, a lot of times credit repair professionals use a one-size-fits-all approach. So they're not tailoring their approach to an individual's needs, where in the product that I'll show you with Credit Score Pro, we're able to tailor our plans and our decision-making based on an individual's needs, so their individual credit report, as well as their individual goals. Issue number 4, it's time-consuming process. So in traditional credit repair, you're going to wait months to get results, and then you're going to have to wait for another month to get more results. And the same thing happens with the AI process, but because you're so hands-on and you're not feeling like your, lack of transparency again, you're going to understand the process and that what takes time. The other part is we're not just doing disputes with AI. We're doing things where we're creating action plans. So when you're taking advantage of the action plan and doing the actions on that, you're going to see that improvement of your credit happen faster. So it's the time frame of between using a traditional credit repair provider versus AI can be drastically reduced because of that. Issue number 5 is dependency. Of course, if you are a client using credit repair services, you're going to be dependent on their services because you don't understand how they did their process and what effects it made. So with AI and you've taken that into your own hands, you're understanding and learning exactly what you need to do. So it takes that dependency away from the credit repair company doing all the work for you. Issue number 6, misleading or unrealistic promises. A lot of credit repair companies overpromise, guarantee improvements that they can't produce. And that can obviously create some issues with trust with the consumers, where when you are doing it yourself, you can see those results. You're not being misled or being provided unrealistic promises. Issue number 7, impact on credit education. So the primary focus with credit repair companies is to improve your credit, typically by doing disputes and getting things removed. They do not spend a lot of time educating the consumer about what they really need to do to improve their credit. And so with the AI solution that we'll talk about in more detail, we're able to not only provide the solution, so we have the disputes if needed, we have the credit education, and we have the action plans. So we're really meeting all 3 aspects of credit, not just one, like most traditional credit repair companies do with just disputing information off the credit report. Okay, the knowledge gap in credit repair services. So many credit repair companies excel at removing negative marks, but lack a deep understanding of the broader credit mechanisms. Really important when we talk about credit repair, traditional credit repair. Again, I said that a lot of their big bulk of their work that they're doing is doing disputes to remove things off the credit report. And some of them are quite frankly very, very good at it. But they lack a lot of times the understanding of how credit actually works. And you can realize that really fast if you frequent social media. You may have heard a lot of different things where I call them like the bait and switch stuff, where they're attacking you with these things like, if you do this, you're gonna improve your credit score by 100 points. Or if if you have a collection, you don't owe the collection company because you don't have a contract with them. They'll say all these things that aren't necessarily true to kind of bait and switch you. And some of the times that's because they lack understanding of what the actual truth is. And so with Credit Score Pro, we're able to provide a resource that has factual information about how credit works so that you have a really deep understanding about credit. And the beauty of that really to me is not just that you learn personally about your credit if you're the consumer, but also that you can share that information with your family and your children. I've done surveys in colleges, and a lot of the surveys came back with that college students really wanted to understand credit, but no one was teaching it. It's not being taught in the colleges. It certainly wasn't taught in high school. A lot of family members aren't teaching it because they honestly don't know. And so with the product that we have with Credit Score Pro, we're actually bringing that available to the consumer, where they can go on and they can learn just about every aspect about credit and then individually have a tailored plan for themselves. So consequences of this limited understanding. Clients receive limited guidance from traditional credit repair, focusing only on removing negatives, not on building healthy credit profile. They emphasize on quick fixes rather than sustainable credit building strategies. And without comprehensive advice, clients may repeat patterns that led to the credit issues in the beginning, right? Because you lack that. If they lack the understanding, they also lack understanding you're going to lack it because they can't teach you. So it's really important that you get that understanding if you're looking to improve your credit so that you know what to do in the long run. Because we usually see in traditional credit repair the same people repeatedly coming back for credit repair services because they never understood the process in the first place and how to have great credit. Quick fixes are those happen a lot in the credit repair. So if we're really working and focusing on removing negatives, that doesn't necessarily mean the debt is gone or that we don't owe the debt. And so that could come back to bite someone in the butt with, judgments and things like that, or escalation of collections. So quick fixes aren't necessarily the best thing either. And Credit Score Pro will help you understand that so that you can make the right decisions for yourself. Okay. All right, tuning in from Las Vegas. I'm just looking at the chat real fast. All right, so it was Raquel, I think, that had the PhD. I think you were the one. Yes. Okay. The doctorate in business with the AI. So you might have some information, Raquel, that you can teach us. And then I see that Cass, you're coming in from Las Vegas, senior systems engineer. Oh, very cool. Recent homeowner and looking to gather information. Awesome. Awesome. So if you have any questions, either one of you or any of you, Mike, I see you're in here. Please feel free to ask me questions in the chat, or, you can unmute yourself at any time. All right, so here's the other problem. Even if you have a great credit repair company, okay, one of the very big drawbacks that a credit repair company has is that they're looking at a credit report that was either provided to them by a credit monitoring system or a mortgage loan officer. Here's the problem with that. There is another part of the credit report called the raw data credit report. Kind of looks like this other image here in the square. This is the information that you don't see when you're looking at your credit report. This is what the computer sees. And this is the really important feature of AI. AI is reading that stuff. Okay, your mortgage loan officer, your credit repair experts, all of them, they're not looking at this, nor would they want to. So I like to give the example, if you have a 10-page credit report, generally speaking, your raw data credit report would be about 500 pages long. It's a lot of code, a lot of information. So when a credit repair company is looking to help get negative items off your credit report that have errors or inaccuracies in it, they can't always find all the errors and inaccuracies on the credit report because they're only looking at what the vendor allowed them to see. They're not looking at all this other data over here. So if you kind of think about that for a second, if a 10-page credit report is 500 pages of code, you can see pretty quickly how many errors would probably be seen in a 500-page document versus a 10-page, right? And so if the AI can see those errors or those inaccuracies on the credit report, that makes them a lot more effective of getting the negative information off the credit report. So there's no way to be better than AI in that respect. Now, you could maybe hire a credit repair company who will look at this raw data, but I will tell you there's very far and few between who even understand what this data means. And then if you find someone like myself who does, I can tell you, you could not pay me enough money to read your raw data credit report and find the errors and inaccuracies. It's just not something I would ever want to do. It would take me days, if not weeks, to do that for you. And I wouldn't want to do it, right? But the awesome thing about computers is they will and they can and they're fast, right? Within seconds, they'll read all that information. But your traditional credit repair company cannot do that, right? All right, so benefits of using AI credit repair software, and specifically I'm talking about Credit Score Pro's AI credit repair software. There are other AI credit repair softwares out there on the market, and ours is Credit Score Pro is far superior because it has 3 elements in it. And so I'll be diving into those throughout the webinar. Okay, so the most important thing about Credit Score Pro is you no longer have to be an expert in credit. So you don't have to go out there and try to learn the laws and understand how to read a credit report and understand the dispute methods, Metro 2 versus factual. You may not even know what those words mean, right? There's all this stuff out there that you can scrub and learn and get books on. And even with all that information, I would say that you're still not an expert because there's so much involved in credit. I think people think that it's simplistic and it's not. But with Credit Score Pro, you don't have to be that because we're going to be able to understand the Fair Credit Reporting Act and do disputes based off of that. It already knows how to read the credit report within seconds. It knows how to do the best dispute methods, and it's also learning through what methods work with the credit bureaus and what doesn't. It knows how and where to file the disputes, where to find them, which ones are the right ones, how to prioritize behaviors that will influence your credit score. So that means above and beyond just doing disputes, like what other things can you do to impact and improve your credit score? And you don't have to think about any of that, right? So you no longer have to be an expert in it, although we give you the resources and the information so that you can be knowledgeable of why it does what it does, okay? All right, all-in-one repair and management solution. So we have, with Credit Score Pro, we have credit monitoring, which is really important. And I'm going to stop here for a second because if you are not on a credit repair or credit monitoring, monitoring service, I'm going to tell you need to be on it ASAP. Specifically, I'm going to give a shout out to a company called Smart Credit, because Smart Credit provides some resources in their credit monitoring that I quite honestly don't believe you should live without anymore. And those include identity theft protection and fraud insurance. So identity theft protection and fraud insurance, they give you a $1 million policy against identity theft. And if you're not listening to the news and not getting on the internet, you may not know, but identity theft is very prevalent. It's happening to people all the time. It's happened to me twice in my life. And I did lose money from that because I did not have this fraud insurance. So I recommend everyone have that. The other thing that Smart Credit has and most credit monitorings do not have is dark web monitoring and removal of data from websites that are selling your information. So it literally will analyze the web and look for different companies that are selling your information, and also look at the dark web with any of your information. And then you can take action within Smart Credit's platform to remove your information from those sites. And it's very important. It does I believe it's like every 14 days, it'll do a new scrub of websites so that you can take action every 14 days. And not that I think you should be overly crazy about it and log into your Smart Credit every 14 days to do that. But I do recommend that every 30 days, you're looking at your credit, you're making sure your information is not being sold out there. you can go to one of those sites and click on it and buy your information and see, you'll be appalled at how much information of yours is being sold out there that people can get. And it's no wonder identity theft is prevalent, right? Oh yes, part of the AT&T breach, yes. So again, another reason why it would be important to have identity theft protection and fraud insurance. Thank you for bringing that up. And I've been a part of quite a few of those breaches, and those happen often. Like Equifax had the breach. A lot of people heard about that. A lot of banks have breaches constantly. So again, I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to show you a resource of how you can get this, but I really believe that you have to have it anymore. And not those free credit monitoring sites, because they don't offer this protection, right? Smart Credit also will identify the best day to pay your credit card so that you can maximize your credit score. So we all know, if you don't know, I'll tell you, that credit cards have a big weight to your credit score. And if your balance is over a certain threshold, it can really drastically decrease your credit score. So Smart Credit would identify the best day to pay it so that you don't have that decrease in credit score, okay? And then, of course, Credit Score Pro has the AI-powered disputes. We have an AI-powered action plan. I'm going to show you that here in a minute. And we got financial literacy and credit coaching all bundled up into one big credit repair management system. Okay, so you get all those features. So you get to learn about how credit works. You get an action plan based on your goal and specifically what's on your credit report. AI-powered disputes, and then all of these items up here is what the credit monitoring provides you. So it's a pretty full powerhouse system that you can have at your disposal. Okay, personalized assistant. So 24/7 availability. You can use your AI to help make everyday financial decisions based on your goal and what will help you the most. Automated alerts and reminders, interactive learning experience, and progress tracking. So all of that is inside of Credit Score Pro. So you can track your progress, you can go into the interactive learning with the modules that are there, and of course, help you make the right decisions on your financial goals. Time saving, automated credit report analysis. So when you have Credit Score Pro, it's going to pull in that credit report from Smart Credit that you attach to it. It's going to then analyze that credit report. It's going to create your disputes. It's going to instantly generate that stuff for you. You just have to click and agree to things. It is real-time credit monitoring. It has the credit building strategies available to you. And when you get the action plan, it's not only going to tell you like, maybe the action plan says you need to get a credit card, but on top of that, it's going to tell you what credit card to get. So you're not having to make a decision and maybe going out there and applying for 10 different credit cards to find out which one's going to work for you. It's going to direct you exactly what to do. And again, remember that AI is machine learning. So it's constantly learning the best strategies. So over time, it gets better and better and better and learns what the credit bureaus want to see for removals of things, what action plan is better for you, for your specific goal. So it's going to save you time, it's going to save you energy, and you don't have to know all the answers, okay? Simplify credit repair and credit management with AI. You can have this all at the palm of your hand. It's a web-based software, but it certainly works well on your phone as well. Okay, so what does Credit Score Pro do? It's number one, it's going to analyze your credit report. So it's going to import the credit reports from all 3 credit bureaus without creating a hard inquiry. So this is a soft inquiry, so you don't have to worry about it affecting your credit score by you looking at and analyzing your credit report. Again, it's the AI is going to look at that raw data file, which is really important, right? So we want it to see all of the errors and inaccuracies, not just what we can surfacely see on the credit report itself. It compares all accounts on all 3 credit bureaus, and it's able to then look at, what those errors are. There are late payment errors, or the balance errors, or the payment status errors. You would not believe how many errors would be on one specific trade line on your credit report, but it's able to find all of those, and as well as violations of the law. Okay. All right, step 2. Once it runs the credit report through the system and analyzes that, it's able to find out which items are on the credit report that are negative, right? And it's going to run that through multiple different algorithms. I think there's like 1,000 different algorithms to figure out what is going to be the best way to handle that particular account. So in our little example here, we have this collection account, and we've selected it as a negative account. We've agreed to Credit Score Pro that it's a negative account. We don't want it on the credit report. And then it's going to give us a suggested reason for the dispute. Now, I like to tell people in this area is you have the ability to change anything you want in Credit Score Pro, because it's very much, you as a person get to control your life. And I think that's really important. But remember, it's using AI, so it's a learning system. So when we say, oh, yes, we don't want this negative thing on our credit report, it's going to create the reason for it. But there's a drop down where we can change the reason. I do recommend to all my clients, don't change the reason unless it is truly identity theft or fraud. And then I would drop it down and make that note that it is. And the only reason I ever change it for that reason is because though Credit Score Pro is super smart and it's using AI, it cannot tell whether or not a particular account was fraud, that your identity was stolen. It would not know that. Okay, so that would be the only reason. Once you click on that and you save that suggested reason, you do that for all of your negative accounts, it's then going to create your actual dispute letter. Okay, it writes the dispute letter. You don't have to think about it. It does it all for you. Let me actually, well, I'll just kind of go through this. So once it creates those dispute letters, I thought I would put a sample of what that looks like. It's going to have the dispute letter with all of the accounts that you disputed. It's emailing that to you. When it emails that to you, it has an instruction page where you can print off your dispute letters, and you would print those, sign those, fill out the top of the form, and it'll explain exactly how to do that, and send that in to the credit bureaus, preferably with a copy of like your driver's license and some kind of evidence of your current address. The credit bureaus really like that. You can do it that way. We also have inside of Credit Score Pro where you can hit a button where we have an integration with a company called MailDash, which would mail out that dispute letter for you for a small fee, which is great for those who don't have a printer or don't have stamps and envelopes. But if you are able to mail out your disputes yourself, I'm going to highly, highly recommend you do that. You are going to get faster response rates and better service through the credit bureaus by doing that. They're very picky about when they get a dispute letter. And I think if you think about it this way, credit bureaus don't want to do the job. That's why they're getting sued all the time, right? They don't want to do the job that they're required by law to do. So they come up with all these different things, reasons why they wouldn't look at your dispute letter. We call those stall tactics. Like it might say, well, we couldn't tell that you sent this dispute letter, so we think maybe somebody else did, so we're not going to do anything with it. And then you have to resend it in and say, yes, this is, I did this dispute. And that's unfortunate, but it's true. So if you do print it yourself and you're able to sign it, fill out the top with your handwriting, and then put it in an envelope where you're mailing it from the city and state that you live in, you will get better and faster results with the credit bureaus. Okay. But there, like I said, there's that option inside where you can get that there's that integration so you can have those mailed out for you. Okay. But here's my favorite part, because we talked about how disputes are part of the process. And credit repair, traditional credit repair, that's really their focus almost entirely in the process, is just how can we get negative items removed. But that's really not the best approach, okay? I think it's an essential approach, but I don't think it's the best approach. I think the best approach is how do we look at this credit report, look at the goal, and then come up with actions that are help improve the credit. And so that's what our AI personalized credit action plan does. You would get a message if you're inside of Credit Score Pro to pick your goal. If you don't, we default the goal to great credit, okay? But you can certainly have a goal to buy a house. And based on that goal, it's going to give you action steps to help you reach that goal. So it might say, like buying a house, there might be something about getting a savings account so that you have money to save for down payment, right? Things like that. So it's going to give you those action steps based on your specific circumstance and your goal. And so in our little sample here, if you look up to the side, you'll see like action step number 1, pay down credit cards. So it might say, here's what you owe, here's the goal, here's what you need to pay, right? And then you can take action on that. And by doing those actions and paying it down to the goal that's inside of Credit Score Pro, you're going to see that credit score improvement. So the actions on your action plan, again, are catered towards your goal and not just things to do. Okay. I think that's really important. It's not going to give you a list of a bunch of things to do just to do them. They're all going to be specifically driven for your particular goal. Okay. Um, so this is my favorite part about it. And you can do goals like, I want to get out of debt. I want to buy a house. I want to buy a car. I want to have great credit in general. And then it'll produce that action plan for you. All right. Then after 40 days, it's going to re-import your new credit report from Smart Credit. When it does that, it's going to reanalyze it. It's going to give you your progress, what's been removed, how things have improved, right? You're going to get a new action plan. So that action plan is going to show you your progress on that. Did you pay this credit card down? Did you get this credit card or whatever that might be? So you can see you can see kind of congratulations by things being in green, and hey, warning signs if things are in red, maybe you increase your balance on your credit cards, right? So every 40 days, it's going to re-import and resend you your updates, which is really great. So you can see firsthand what's happening on your credit for yourself, unlike traditional credit repair where you're waiting for them to give you an update, right? All right, so the next section. This is one of my favorite sections here, and this is our financial literacy section. So inside of Credit Score Pro, you have a coaching tab where you can go to, and there's a bunch of different modules of credit education. And so it was originally designed for the loan officer. So we were using this credit education literacy to help loan officers understand credit better, because even though they're in the industry of helping with lending decisions, oftentimes they don't really know the intricate things about how credit works. And so they're asked questions by consumers, but they weren't able to answer them. So that was originally what these modules were created for. And we realized that it was beneficial to everyone. So these are inside, and really there's tons and tons of small little videos about educational pieces for credit, just about everything you can think of under the sun in regards to credit. One of my favorite ones in all of it is common credit myths, because I know you hear them, and they're all over social media. And so this is one of my favorites. So you can kind of uncover what people are saying. Now, if it looks like, Pedram, you have a question, feel free to unmute and ask the question at any time.
All right, yeah, thank you so much for the time. So we have a peculiar scenario where one of our companies, we had to declare a corporate bankruptcy, but one of our co-founders, he signed off on personal guarantees, and so his credit is being impacted, even though he's not doing a personal bankruptcy. So now, I guess he's going through these steps of receiving letters from the creditors, and some are claiming that he's
we lost you for a second.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can fix this audio. Okay. All right. Is this any better?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. So my question is it in his particular scenario, it's about probably, I don't know, probably about $600,000, $700,000 in corporate debt. And is it better for him to just, let these impact his credit, and over time, just kind of negotiate with them? Or is it better for him to declare personal bankruptcy? Or how do you deal with a scenario like this? Is personal bankruptcy worse than letting your credit just kind of, deteriorate, and just kind of work back towards having a higher credit score over time? What do you recommend in this scenario, and how would your software or your AI help in this scenario?
Yeah, I love that question. So in the beginning of the webinar, I know you were coming in and off the webinar, so I know you missed some things. But in the beginning of the webinar, I talked about disputing negative items on the credit report. One of the things that's really beneficial with the AI is that it's able to read a raw data credit report, so it can find errors in the reporting and inaccuracies. And by law, there cannot be any errors or inaccuracies, but there are. On almost every account, there's several errors and inaccuracies. So number one, I would suggest that he use this platform to create dispute letters based on those inaccuracies to try to get some things removed. In that process, sometimes a creditor will come back and verify the debt, which I find is fine. Like if I'm doing, if I'm coaching you in credit repair, I would be like, hey, if they give me verification that you owe it and they correct the errors on the credit report, generally they'll also give you a great offer to rectify or resolve the situation, right? And then again, Credit Score Pro also provides what else can we do besides doing disputes, besides worrying about the negative stuff, what else can we do to impact the credit report so that we can show positive stuff and improve the credit score, right? So as a negative gets older and older, it becomes less of an impact to the credit score. However, when we're talking about large debts, creditors are very often they'll take actions faster towards doing doing a complaint for judgment and get a judgment against this person, right? And so I like to say that it's not a solution where we're going to dispute stuff and we're going to put our head under the sand and we're going to pretend like the situation's not there. That is not what I'm saying at all. I do think Credit Score Pro would be very helpful in that situation, but I also think that we would need to handle the problems if they come back and they're verified. Okay. Now, with the enormity of the debt itself, bankruptcy may be a viable option. And I'm totally not against bankruptcy. The problem with bankruptcy is it does affect your credit for 10 years. So not necessarily your score will be jeopardized for that long, but you will be paying more for everything that you buy, right? So your car insurance will be higher, your homeowner's insurance will be higher. They all score differently based on their bankruptcy, right? Your interest rates on other things will be higher. But you could get your credit score up very fast after a bankruptcy. So I've had people file bankruptcy and then months later, we're looking at a 700 credit score. So that, again, that would be a situation still Credit Score Pro could help, because if he files bankruptcy, now we can work on getting all the negative stuff removed and rebuild positive stuff. So it could be a very good option for him.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I'm
and then
welcome to do a consultation to review it and give you my personal opinion specifically based on him, so if he wants to do that, we can do that.
Yeah, for sure. And then so I guess there's an email that I can get in touch with. I have to go pick up my kids. I'm sorry. So is there any way that I can get your contact information?
Absolutely. Do you have time for me to put it in chat for you right now?
Yes, please go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So it's Alicia at mycreditscorepro.com. Okay. So, and that's for any of you, if you have additional questions or would like a consultation with me, feel free to email me and get you set up with a consultation. Okay. So it's Alicia at mycreditscorepro.com.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Sorry, I have to go.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
While we're on that, does anybody else have any other questions that maybe I can answer for you? And you feel free to type in chat if you have any question. Let me see if I'll make sure I didn't miss anything in chat as well. Okay, so please feel free to visit creditscorepro.ai. There is a really cool intro video at the top that gives you some more information. On the website, there's a couple of things that you can look at. There are credit building tools. So some people ask me, well, I don't know that I need any credit repair help, but I need to build credit. I don't have any credit. There is a section on there. It says credit building tools. You can go to that page and get the tools that we've vetted for credit building. So, and when I say we vetted, what that means is that there are a lot of credit building tools out there. You will hear about them everywhere, but a lot of them actually cost money, and some of them are very expensive, and some of them aren't the right ones. I call them the subprime ones. So it's important that you don't just jump in and start getting all these credit building credit cards. And I see it all the time where someone would come to me and I'll do a consultation and they're really happy with themselves because they went out and got 10 credit cards and they're paying $99 annual fee for all 10 credit cards, right? So this is extremely expensive way to build credit, and you literally don't need to do that. So there's a way to do it so you can impact your credit without having that many credit cards and not paying those annual fees. But again, that's where Credit Score Pro can help as well. Even if you don't have credit issues per se, you can go into Credit Score Pro, get that credit monitoring set up, and it's going to still create that action plan, right? That could very well be based on your particular goal, and then creating those plans because you don't have any credit, right? I was just looking at messages because Cass was messaging me. Okay, so obviously we have the credit coaching too, so you can learn more information about how credit works. What questions might you have about credit that you'd like answered? Inside of that, you have that resource. And of course, you have the disputes. Like, don't let me forget that. I do think before you ever pay any collection or negative item on your credit report, make sure you dispute it first. Because oftentimes they have to verify it. They have to have the validation of it. You need to know that the person who, you know, let's say XYZ collection company who is saying you owe them from a credit card through Capital One, you have to make sure that they are truly the place that you would pay. So it's really important to do disputes. And of course, having access to ongoing credit monitoring. Again, I'll say this 100 times. I say it all the time to everyone I know. You need to have credit monitoring all the time. Remember, we talked about identity theft, but we can talk about things where it's not even necessarily identity theft, but someone else's information goes on your credit. There's all kinds of things that could happen, but you need to get those alerts when something happens on your credit so that you can take measures immediately. Hi, Ivory's here. Okay. Join us every Thursday here. We do the live webinars on Thursday. And then of course you can join our Facebook. We would love you to. It's called Credit Score Pro, the AI credit revolution. And on that group, Facebook private group, you can ask questions about credit. You'll get the answers. If you're a professional, we would really love you to be in there to help answer questions, because we have people on there that ask questions about loans and things like that. So it would be helpful to have as many people on there helping filter those questions and answer them. All right, so any other questions that I can answer? No questions? All right, so do me a favor today, go to creditscorepro.ai, check it out. Let me know your own feedback. You can email me with your feedback if you have any for me. And then please go on to our Facebook private group, sign up for that. Like and follow us on our Facebook page, which is creditscorepro.ai. And that way you can see all the different webinars that we have coming up. Okay. But I appreciate you guys being here. If you do have any additional questions that you'd like to privately message me in the email, I did put that in there, Alicia@mycreditscorepro.com. All right. Well, I appreciate you. Ivory, did you want to say anything before we go? Oh, she's on mute.
I'm on mute. Nope. I will see everyone next week. Sorry, I couldn't make this one.
We appreciate you. Thank you for leaving me hanging. All right, guys. Thank you and have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.